Hmm. Hi, everybody. Welcome and congratulations. There's a lot of different ways to start your weekend, and I think it's pretty remarkable that you chose to be here connecting to what in Shambhavananda Yoga w- is is the highest. Our inner self and this ability to be renewed and be well, nourished, but I guess you could be re-nourished too. You can be nourished again and again by your focus and your dedication and the spiritual energy, the Shakti that's available with these very special practices. Um, so let's just dive right in. Take a quarter turn to your left. We'll start on our bellies. And this should be comfortable. So if it's not, make any adjustments, use any props so you feel like you can relax. Can you? And then stack the hands, let the elbows come wide, bring forehead to the hands. And first just notice the sensation in the shoulders. Sometimes this position can feel tight in the neck. And so give yourself permission to wiggle around. Let the elbows walk wider or closer together until the head feels supported, the neck feels supported, the shoulders feel supported. And then go through that same process with the legs. Sometimes bringing the feet a little wider can help the low back relax. Give yourself permission to wiggle and adjust. And when you find a comfortable place to pause, notice the sensation of stillness for a moment. And then bring your awareness to your breath. And so even when the body is still, the breath provides nourishment. Of course, oxygen, but also prana, drawing energy into every cell. And just take a few slow and smooth breaths and resist the temptation to force the breath. Instead, just watch. Just observe. Let the breath be natural. And imagine, just like the inhale brings in nourishment, imagine each exhale allows you to release a little bit of tension. Can be something physical in the body, something you've been worrying about, maybe just a busy week. Just imagine each time you exhale, that softening allows all these layers of stuff to release. And in a moment, I'll be inviting you to move. But really our priority is to stay in this space of nourishment where we're just drawing in energy and releasing everything that doesn't serve us, as if we were getting the opportunity to start totally fresh, totally new in this moment. And so take one more conscious breath. And then bend the knees so the toes point towards the ceiling and start to windshield wiper the feet from side to side and let the movement be a little slower than you're used to. Slowing down actually takes more muscular control, so it helps wake up deeper core muscles. And sometimes it even helps wake up your awareness and helps you just drop right into the present moment. As you windshield wiper, notice that it's not just the feet moving, but that the thigh bones rotate in the hip socket. The pelvis might gently tilt from side to side. You might even feel a little subtle rotation through each vertebra. And pause, slowly extend the legs out and start to kick the feet on the mat, just waking up the feet. You don't want any pain here. It should feel stimulating and kind of exciting and fun. And then pause and notice any tingling, notice any rejuvenation of the feet. And we'll go through a similar process with the upper body. So reach the arms forward, wiggle the fingers a little bit, and just visualize the pathway from the back of the heart through the shoulders to the fingers. Slowly start to drag the hands back, keeping the arms straight. As you do this, notice the muscles on the back of the body turning on. And then push the arms forward, let the back of the body lengthen. And just do this a couple of times, and it can be really gentle. You don't want to feel any strain in the shoulders, but this gentle tractioning will start to wake up the muscles in the shoulders, the muscles in the back. You can start to peel the head off of the mat, coming into a baby cobra, but this cobra has arms. I don't know what kind of cobra that is. And the next time you come up, bend the elbows, bring the elbows underneath your shoulders, and similar energetic quality. Keep your hands where they are, but drag them back, and just notice how you're able to reach the heart forward just a little bit. Take a couple of breaths here, and then start to draw a circle with the top of the head. And so the head goes slightly to the left, and then down, and then right. And as you circle, imagine you're massaging the shoulders. And so let the spine follow the head, so you feel it more in your shoulders than in your neck. And then go the opposite direction. It's almost as if you're circling your rib cage, and the head is just following. And imagine as the rib cage circles that you're not just allowing the musculature between the shoulders and the rib cage to wake up, but you're almost like getting rid of anything that might be stuck or stagnant in the back of the body. And then pause for one moment at center. Slide the hands back even further and push into the hands to send the hips all the way to the heels, forehead to the mat. Again, this should be comfortable, so if it's not, you might want to try a cat pose instead. Sometimes that feels better on your knees. And just gently rock from side to side, massaging the forehead. If you're in cat pose, you can just shift from side to side. And bring all the weight into the shins. Let the body start to hover and slowly stack one vertebra at a time as the hips come forward into a high kneel. Oh, good job moving so slowly. You guys get extra points. Kneel, walk to the middle of the mat and then turn to face me. And actually keep walking from side to side. It's sort of hilarious. You guys look really cute. You can bring your arms in a little bit. And if this isn't comfortable on your knees, you can come to stillness or grab a blanket. And then we're going to experiment with a little bit of kneeling balance. So the next time you shift to the left, play with hovering the right foot. And it might feel a little wobbly, and that's good. That's turning on some deep core muscles. If you're smiling, then you're doing it right. And then try it on the other side. Make sure you're breathing. And notice how breathing might help your balance a little bit. And I'm going to give you a moment to keep exploring on your own. So if you want to try a longer hold on one side and do some weird things with the other leg, or if you like the more back and forth, you can do that. And hopefully this is fun. It makes me think of walking on a slack line. So if you've ever wanted to walk on a slack line, this is really great preparation. I'm not kidding. It really is. But notice how experimenting with the body can be kind of fun, right? It's like a game that makes everything a little more interesting, a little more conscious. Once you've balanced on your right side, you are complete. You can come back to center. Release the arms down. If you don't want to stop that, you don't have to. I never want to stop you from playing games with yourself. And we'll take a moment to just notice what has become more alive in the hips. And just take a couple of conscious breaths to that space. And then shift the weight into the left knee again. You get one more hover on each side. And step the right foot out just a little bit. Let the right toes turn out. The knees pretty much over the ankle. And take a couple of test bends. So bend the knee just a little bit, and it shouldn't feel intense on the hips. Bring extra weight into your heel. And notice how having weight in the heel might help there be a little more support through the back of the leg, especially the hamstrings and the glutes, so the back of the hip. Just take a couple of shifts like that. And bend the knee and notice how the body just starts to tilt gently to the right and then kick into the heel to come back up. If you'd like, you can add the arms in, just letting them effortlessly float up. And this should feel like an allowing instead of a forcing, right? So there's just this, wow, I wish you guys could see how beautiful you all look together. You're almost like blades of grass dancing in the wind, or maybe seaweed. The next time you come into your tilt, pause there. Make sure there's no pressure in the front of the knee. If you feel pressure, bring more weight into the heel. Bring the right hand to the thigh and let the left side of the body arch just a little bit, but not too far. Take a couple of breaths into the right side of, or the left side of the body. And really try to feel the sensation of the rib cage opening here. If the left shoulder ever gets tired, you can make a little chicken wing or just bring the hand to the hip. And then slowly start to carve the top arm forward and round the spine just a little bit. And then bring the hand back to where it was and arch the spine just a little bit. And there shouldn't be any pain in the hip or the low back. So if you feel sensitive, try letting these movements be a little bit smaller. It takes more awareness, right? It's like, oh, okay, where in this kind of weird movement can I stay to feel supported? Kind of like that game of balancing on one knee. And the next time you start to arc down, that looks so great. Place your left hand about a foot or two to the left of your right foot. Let your left knee point between the hand and the foot, and then lift your right arm. So you're in a twist towards the right. Take a couple of breaths here and then lower the right hand inside of the right foot, kick into the right foot, lengthening the leg, but don't worry about it getting straight. And we're going to pulse between those two shapes. So inhale, shift forward, lift the right hand. We'll call this twist and lunge. And then exhale, kick into the right leg, release the right hand. We'll call this hurdler. And start to flow with your own breath. So we'll all move at a different pace, letting the inhale rotate you open and expand, and letting the exhale help you soften and release. Doesn't matter how far you go. Imagine this is also like a game that you're playing where it's like, how smooth, how light and effortless can I make this? And the breath leads the way. If ever something feels really good and you want to pause there and you want to explore a little bit, please, by all means, let this be your own adventure. I'm just giving you some ideas. The next time you bow forward, pause there and just take one long breath across the spine. shift the weight into the left hand so you can bring the right knee back to meet the left, and then come to tabletop facing the opposite direction. It's good for your brain to change directions. Let's do a little bit of crawling. So bring the left knee forward and allow the right hand to glide forward just a little bit. And then right knee, and notice how the left hand just naturally floats. Left knee, and then right. And it's opposite hand and leg, but let the knee lead the way. It's a little more challenging to go backwards, so try it, but don't be discouraged if your brain is like, which hand, which foot? Again, this is more of like a brain exercise. And then once you're in the middle of your mat, once again, slowly rise up to kneeling, turn to face me, and we'll go for a little kneeling walk. And then shift the weight into the right knee. Last balance exploration from kneeling. You guys are a lot more solid. It's cool. Sometimes when you give something a break and come back to it, your body's like, oh yeah, I figured it out while you weren't paying attention. And then place the left foot down. Take a moment to set the knee over the ankle and give yourself permission to walk the foot a little further away or a little bit closer. If you're not sure, it should feel comfortable. It should feel like you could stay here for a long time, no problem. And if you haven't already, please cushion your right knee if you need it. Mine are getting a little sensitive from all the kneeling. Bend left knee just a little bit and just notice how the body follows, and then kick into the left heel back to center. And just move at your own pace. And it is really important to keep the weight in the heel, which might mean you could go a lot further, but you stop yourself. And that actually builds a lot of awesome stability in the ankle and the knee and the hip too. And then if you'd like to add in the arms, you can. Oh yay, my favorite part. And then just try to relax a little bit. And imagine you actually are a blade of grass. You're not thinking about which direction to blow. You're just letting yourself be in harmony with nature, with your roots and the elements around you. The next time you tip, left hand can come to thigh, and just take a few breaths to open the right side of the rib cage. Make sure the right shoulder feels happy, right? So it doesn't have to lift. You want a lot of space between the ear and the shoulder. So if you feel this happening, just try to go like almost imagine like yawning with the shoulder, like ah. And then we start to carve that space forward and open. And this is called shearing, when the different layers of our fascia slide on each other. It's a really valuable exercise, but we can overdo it, right? So you want it to feel really gentle, not like anything's pulling too much, almost like you're just inviting some glide in the different layers of your musculature. You guys all look so unique and expressive. Everyone's doing it a little different. And see if you can feel the breath as you do this. And then the next time the hand comes forward, let it plant. Let the right shin swivel so the hips are squared towards left foot and right hand. And we take our twist to the left this time. Notice if your hips want a little extra space, walk the left foot over to the left so it feels like you've got plenty of room to allow the hips to lower. And then drop the left hand and kick into the left leg for hurdler. Slow, smooth inhale at your own pace opens you up to the twisted lunge. And then your conscious exhale helps you release. And we're not trying to stretch our hamstrings. We're not trying to do anything. We're really allowing the breath to help the body unfold. We want the nervous system to feel really relaxed, which comes from feeling safe and not forcing anything. And so just like that blade of grass moving in the wind, imagine your breath is the wind. And it's gently generating these movements, and there's no thought. There's just following. The next time you bow forward, pause there, take an extra breath along the spine, especially if anywhere feels tight or sensitive. You can even wiggle your hips from side to side like a happy dog wagging his or her tail. And then walk the hands over to the left. Put a little extra weight in your right hand so you've got room to scooch your left leg back to meet the right. Square yourself over to the left. Paw the hands forward, one handprint, tuck the toes, and push into the hands to send the hips up and back. Bend your knees really deeply like a leapfrog, and notice if that gives you some more space to reach the hips a little higher and lengthen the spine. And then sway the hips from side to side. This always reminds me of an elephant walking. And as you sway from side to side, notice how as the hips go to the right, the left hand almost wants to drag in towards the feet, and vice versa. Let the hands start to drag one at a time until we can all meet in a forward fold with really deeply bent knees. No tension in the spine. Make sure you can breathe. And start to walk the hands up the legs. If the core feels really strong, you can do this without the hands. Just make sure you don't feel any strain, especially in the low back or the head or neck. And we'll all meet at standing, and just pause at the top and imagine your body is brand new. Imagine all the work you've done has completely replaced all of the cells, all of the tissues, and everything is just fresh and refreshed. Take this new body for a little walk. Just walk around your space, and if your body really was brand new, imagine how cool walking would be. How exciting it would be to feel this ability to locomote. Let the arms swing a little bit, and try to walk in a way that feels really effortless. So there's nothing tight in the hips, nothing tense anywhere. We'll all meet back on our mat. You can eventually face me, but you don't need to rush. And internally rotate your feet and notice how that feels as the hips internally rotate, or thighs, and then externally rotate your feet. And I like to do it with my hands too. And do this a few times. We'll be widening our stance, but I'm actually more interested in you feeling what's happening with your legs as they come in and out. And you might get to a point where you don't want to go any further. That's great. Just stay right there. You can even back off a little bit. Imagine I'm about to throw you a football, and then I actually am. I'm throwing you a football. Catch the football over to the left and bring some extra weight into that left heel. Ooh, Radharani, you got that one. Maybe I'm throwing you the wedding flowers, the bouquet. And then let's inhale through center, big star, and then exhale the other way and then catch the bouquet. Or that might bring up weird stuff. You could catch the football, catch whatever you want. Inhale back to center. And then exhale to come over to one side. And now move at your own pace. And really try to feel the awareness in the back of the body as you bend the knee, anchoring and supporting you. There shouldn't be any pressure in the knee. It should feel very supported. And just take one more to each side. And actually, let's pause on the left side. And on the left side, push down into the left heel. And as you slowly come up to center, turn the toes to the right. And just take one moment to pause in Veerabhadrasana 2. And let this be just the most weightless, effortless Veerabhadrasana 2. Take a couple of breaths into your new body and feel any sense of expansion or freedom And then turn all 10 toes towards me, melt the arms down. We'll do that one more time. And so start by catching your whatever you want to catch over to the right. And then inhale through center, and we go the other way. And we'll just do one more over to the right. And this time, as you unfold, push down into the right leg, turn the left toes out, and just pause in this effortless, easy Veerabhadrasana 2. If you'd like, you can turn the back toes in a little bit. Sometimes that's friendly on the hips. It might not be a very deep pose. Instead, try to feel all this space in your joints. Take a couple of natural breaths. And then we'll use all this space and our happy hips and our happy joints to prepare for meditation. So if you'd like to sit in a chair or grab a cushion, please do that. And we'll meet consciously seated in whatever way. And Satyam's going to take over. And I guess he's going to be talking about sparkles. So thank you so much for practicing. You don't have to sit like this.
Namaste everyone. Hello. Welcome. Hello Stephanie. Welcome to the program. All right. So yeah, this is a question I think it's worthy that we ask ourselves now and then. What makes you sparkle? It's been the focal point of our Shiva Sutras discussion over the last month or so, actually. It's been a while. And, at first we might answer that question, sunrise, sunset, my favorite piece of fruit, breakfast with a loved one. But then we have to ask ourselves, but how do we maintain that sparkle once the sun is high overhead or it sets, behind the clouds, when the fruit's done or when the loved one heads to work? And that question itself gives us the yogic perspective on sparkle, on happiness. The idea being that we actually cultivate our sparkle from within as we do our practice, that we actually learn how to go to the source of our happiness and to hold our awareness there, and that this process cultivates what's called bliss, ananda. The word recently in the sutras has been spurana, this glittering fragrance of God consciousness. And so how do we accomplish that? One moment, just gotta change the slide, sorry. Accomplishing that means we have to pull our attention inside. And at first this feels like a rejection of the outside world, but it's not. It's called surrender. It's the conscious releasing of our dependence on external objects for happiness. And so in the sutras, we see this quote that we were looking at together in class. We'll look at it here. When in ordinary daily life one repels the actions of the mind and shatters dependence on the senses by which one is enslaved, causing one to follow them according to their every wish, and instead diverts their senses towards God consciousness, then by your grace they instantly achieve that supreme state of God consciousness, which floods them with the unparalleled nectar of bliss. Taking a moment to look at that in your own pacing. We might not realize it, but we do get pushed and pulled around by our senses and by the objects of our awareness pretty constantly. And according to the sutras, we might not realize it, but we're actually getting tugged around by them like a leash. And so if we want to learn how to maintain our sparkle, we got to learn how to pull our awareness within. And then the beauty of it is the sparkle doesn't leave. as the sutras continue, the yogi never loses the fragrance of God consciousness. This means that their God consciousness endures in each and every state of their life. So that's what we're going to do right now, is pull our attention within, surrender this external reality for just a moment, and see if we can cultivate that sparkle. So you're already in a comfortable seat. Allow the eyes to close. And turn your awareness to your breath flow, making it about the same length in and out. Breathing through the nose. Keeping the mouth closed, go ahead and swallow and feel the sort of the suctioning of the mouth and the throat, allowing for a nice full nasal breath. Allow the space below your rib cage to gently press out as you inhale. Not a lot of effort here, but just saying hello to the navel. And you can try on the slight smile that's always just for you. It's imperceptible from the outside, but you can feel it inside. That slight smile that somehow shifts the trajectory of your energy. And it really is this simple. If you can maintain a sense of stillness, if you can maintain a steadiness of your breath, you're doing it. You are cultivating this bliss. You're not responsible for as much as you think when it comes to happiness, especially from the yogic perspective. You don't have to go out and buy it. You don't have to even save up for it. You literally just have to do this. But you have to do this with all of your awareness, and that's the cost of happiness. Keep your breath flow steady, keep your body relaxed and still. As you inhale, you can repeat the silent mantra of the breath, hum. As you exhale, the silent mantra, sa. Repeating these in your heart as you inhale and exhale, hum, sa. Single pointed focus for your mind as you breathe. Come back to the slight smile. Come back to your steady breath. maintain your focus all the way through the breath process. The longer you can stay connected to your breath, the more bliss is available. During your practice, you will reach a point where the mind presents you with a way out, a whole path that leads you out of your practice. Not just one thought, but a whole path of thoughts. Feel the breath flow go in through the nose. As you exhale, don't go out with the breath, but sink in again. Sever your attachments to these thoughts by breathing simply and consciously. Be in the room you're in. Be in the breath. Be as simple as you can be. Let the awareness you normally store in your mind and in your head, let it sink down to the sparkle factory of the heart, to this place of real magic, according to thousands of years of practice. Just let your head drain down, let your awareness drain down into the heart. Follow your breath there. Swallow, follow that. Swallow there. There's no doubt that this approach to happiness is more challenging, but it is so much more engaging and so much more realistic. And so it's such a simple process that we can invest in a little bit throughout our day. So I hope you were able to tap into a little bit of that nourishment that exists inside the heart. So namaste. Thanks for being part of our program tonight. Really happy to see everyone and look forward to seeing you next week.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for giving us a reason to do this. I definitely feel more sparkly thanks to all of you. So we're really grateful.